All right, welcome back, everybody. My name's Token B Rock here with another stream. It is Thursday, September 29th, 10:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. Overall, crypto market cap is not too far off from where it was just yesterday, sitting right now at $923 billion. Bitcoin dominance at 39.4%, down from yesterday. ETH dominance at 17.2%, just slightly down as well. Bitcoin has seen a little bit of volatility here in the past 24 hours, dipping below 19K. Right now it's sitting at 19.2. ETH sitting just below 1325. BNB at 282, 281. Cardano inching closer to 43 cents. Solana at 33.74. Overall, not too different from where we were yesterday. Looking at the 1 minute chart, we can see that the bulls were not really able to stay above that line of support at 19,550 for very long. Ultimately, the bears drove price action down to roughly 18,850, 18,840, and the bulls have brought the price action above 19,100, but we're trying to see if they can continue with a series of higher highs. That way we can break out and above back to $20,000. Will that play out? Again, some bearish things in the news that we're going to discuss that may play a role in the volatility we may experience here in the short term and going into the fall and the winter. Just in, Bitcoin could double in price under CFTC regulation. Chairman says it's pretty bullish. Bitcoin is supposedly doing Bitcoin things. Personally, I wouldn't expect a curve like this, at least not right now. Maybe this curve gets pushed out a good 3 to 6 months. That is, unless a bunch of currencies start getting devalued like crazy. Not that they haven't already, but I think this is not accounting for the recession slash depression that the global economy may or may not experience here in the short term. So, just something I thought I'd point out. Circle announces plans to launch USDC on Polkadot, Arbitrum One, Near, and Optimism networks, also Cosmos networks. So, very, very cool for USDC. Binance launches Ethereum proof of work mining pool. If you guys want to participate, I'm sure they'll have that readily available here in the short term pretty soon. Swift is integrating Chainlink. If you're not familiar, Chainlink, it is an Oracle play essentially. It gathers information and spits out the most accurate information possible. It is number 20 based off of market cap, sitting right now at $7.83. May or may not be a decent time to pick up some Chainlink, as we can see it is down a whopping like 80% from its all-time high. So just keep that in mind. A little bit over, actually, more like 85. Nonetheless, we have Jim Cramer uh, saying that charts suggesting it's time to hold your nose and buy something. This guy, Crypto Paradigm, he basically says, down we go. And this kind of off the sentiment that whenever news pundit says to buy something, it's probably best to sell or wait and then buy something because it's kind of like reverse psychology in a way. If you invest in the British pound, be prepared to lose all your money. Bank of England is saying if you invest in Bitcoin and crypto, prepare to lose all your money. Uh, Kind of interesting that they're saying that. We're going to go a little bit into this. Here we have Bank of England to restart quantitative easing. Buy UK government bonds. They never learn, do they? Quantitative easing while inflation is at near record highs, if not at all time highs, is not a good idea. It sounds like a total recipe for disaster. But the Bank of England is going to do it on whatever scale is necessary. So this may actually send Bitcoin to the upside for the short term. Bank of England took emergency action on Wednesday to avoid a meltdown in the UK pension sector, which could have been the UK's Lehman moment. Just to put things into perspective, Lehman moment refers to the Lehman Brothers, basically huge collapse that sent other assets and basically it sent a huge cascade of to the downside basically. And if this were to happen in the UK, you better believe the markets would tank as a result. U.S. officials saying the U.S. Treasury is watching the UK turmoil with increasing concern. UK is one of our biggest allies for the time being, so it struggling is not a good sign because we could probably be struggling here in a few years' time. Here we have um, Stanley Drunkenmiller talking about playing no games. Let's skip part to the head that
is it happening?
let's skip ahead to the part where he talks.
We are in deep trouble. So
Says we're in
everything
deep
I
trouble.
said at those colleges is worse in terms of the metrics, except for one thing. And what I miscalculated was I didn't calculate zero rates. I used 4% rates.
He
But
didn't
the
think
only
the
thing
Fed would go to 0% interest rates. He was accounting for 4%.
Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton agreed on in 2016 was don't cut Social Security, don't cut entitlements. So nothing was done. Joe Biden has excoriated Rick Scott because he dared mention maybe we shouldn't be increasing senior pays. But if you look at the reversal I just talked about, and you use the CBO estimate, which is rates at 3.8%, which I think, frankly, is pretty optimistic, given all the things we've talked about. By 2027, the interest expense alone on the debt eats all healthcare spending. By 2047, it eats all discretionary spending. So we're now getting into fiscal dominance. By the way, by 49, it eats all Social Security. We're getting to the point now where the interest expense on the debt is so high that it's going to eat up our ability to basically service the next generation. I'm not even sure about the current one.
Okay.
Crazy.
I brought some cyanide if you'd like one.
No, I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking maybe we'll be okay, but
yeah, because we'll be dead.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it's we're at a tipping point, you guys. Essentially, those of you watching this today, if you're 50 and under, you're pretty much effed. Because Social Security, all these as he said, entitlements and such, they're not going to exist because we won't have any money to pay out. We're so deeply enrooted in debt. It's disgusting. Drunkenmiller speaks again. Our central case is a hard landing by the end of 2023. You don't even need to talk about black swans to be worried here. To me, the risk reward of owning assets doesn't make a lot of sense. Again, this is a guy, big dog investor, so his words do carry some weight. Legendary investor Stephen Druckenmiller, who has never had a down year in the markets, fears it could be something even worse. I don't rule out something really bad. Druckenmiller believes the extraordinary quantitative easing and zero interest rates over the past decade created an asset bubble. All these factors that cause a bull market, not only stopping, they're reversing. Every one of them, we are in deep trouble. You make a mistake, got to admit you're wrong and move on that 9 or 10 months that they just sat there and bought 120 billion bonds. I think the repercussions of that are going to be with us for a very long time. Consumer Price Index, or CPI, increased 8.3% in August year over year, near a 40-year high and coming in above consensus expectation. Druckenmiller once managed George Soros' Quantum Fund and shot to fame after helping make a $10 billion bet against the British pound in 1992. He later oversaw $12 billion as president of Decence Capital Management before closing his firm in 2010. Again, talking about not even having to worry about black swans here. He thinks owning assets right now is the risk that comes associated with the reward is not there. It's not present at this time. That's coming from his mouth, not mine. Inflation in Germany jumps to 10% in September, the highest annual increase in the history of the index since World War II. And in reality is you can't print energy. Britain tried that and it broke them within a month. Now the Germans will try the same thing. You give out stimmies, it actually increases demand. Prices will go bonkers. If you aren't long energy, your P&L, profits and loss, will suffer. This winter will be wild. And again, they're making every mistake in the book. It's crazy. Russia annexing 4 occupied Ukrainian regions at a ceremony hosted by Putin tomorrow, Kremlin spokesperson says. Then, this comes just as huge explosions happened over on the Nord Stream pipeline that basically feeds natural gas from Russia over to Europe. Sweden's Coast Guard actually discovered 4 gas leaks at the pipeline, according to local media. And it's kind of ironic. I'm not, again, not a really big fan of this guy anymore, but he says U.S. leadership should remain cool, calm, and dry on the sabotage of the Nord Stream pipelines. This is a big event that should not entail a big solution, at least not yet. The Russia/Ukraine catastrophe should never have happened, would definitely not have happened if I were president. Do not make matters worse with the pipeline blow up. Be strategic, be smart, in parentheses, brilliant. Get a negotiated deal done now. Uh, both sides need and want it. The entire world is at stake. I will head up group. I don't think he's actually going to head up a group, but I think it's interesting to point out that he did call out the absurd amount of reliance on the Russians for natural gas, and he was mocked and laughed at for saying such a thing. And now I guarantee a lot of those people are like, maybe he was onto something, at least regarding that. U.S. government is so blatantly escalating against Russia and China by constantly provoking them that do they want a big war so badly because they know they're bankrupt and can no longer afford the kind of military they have now. That's why it's now or never. Interesting point by Kim.com. Michael Tracy says, we know the U.S. government always told the complete truth about the USS Maine, the RMS Lusitania, the USS Greer, the Gulf of Tonkin, Iraqi babies and incubators, WMDs in Afghanistan and Iraq. So there's every reason to believe they're telling the complete truth about the Nord Stream pipeline explosion. And, just after this Nord Stream pipeline explosion, gas prices here in the U.S. Saw a decent bump. I was getting gas right on, I think, $3.80 here out just outside of Chicagoland. Now I'm paying roughly $4.30, so basically a 50-cent hike. And it's crazy how the media runs to say that maybe it was Hurricane Ian. It's pretty ridiculous, They're telling you how to think. Chart of the year from Anthony Pompliano. This is over on TradingView. It's showing how while all these other currencies, these global currencies get devalued like crazy, the US dollar is showing immense strength. Not going to be a good winter. Here over on Instagram, they're starting to fact check CBDC memes. Here we have a meme showing everything wrong with CDC, entails social credit scores. Every transaction is documented. Access to your money can be turned off at any moment. Frozen funds, vulnerability to state and foreign actors. Banks have full control of every penny you own. Zero privacy. Cybersecurity tax, zero anonymity. All your movements and actions are traceable, centralization, but the NPC only cares about the convenience that comes with having the CBDC. Well, over on Instagram, they didn't like that, so they're saying that post was partly false, even though I don't see anything false about that. And you know what? It's funny because they said inflation was transitory. Now they're saying it's not. They were wrong about that. And now they're just telling you 7 ways a recession could be good for you financially. Hey, a recession isn't all bad news. Here are 7 silver linings. It's like it's crazy. They laugh at you, they call you stupid until it happens, and then when it happens, they're like, "It's not that big of a deal, man. You're blowing this out of proportion." It's like, really? I'm blowing this out of proportion? Like, you guys acted like there was no problem all this time. Now that there's a problem, you're saying it's not that big of a deal, even though plenty of people are hurting as a result of the problem. But that's besides the point for some people. Anyways, that about does it for today's stream, you guys. If you're over on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Please share the video. Hit the bell icon to be notified when we go live next. I will be live tomorrow, 10:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. And until then, guys, take care and invest wisely.